I think all of these are in jeopardy of being declared null and void in a court of law. And that's a big deal for the Trump administration because so much of what Trump is up against in court now with these liberal, biased, Biden-appointed judges.
And the answer to that is no. And now we're going to be an Epstein world where, like, wait a minute, treasonous conspiracy by a former president. Why isn't the Department of Justice bringing charges? And the answer to that question is that it is a lie.
Or B, we're so concerned about Donald Trump presidency that they felt it was okay to concoct false information into the American people, into the body politic.
Ketanji, the Supreme Court judge, might be in trouble. Could her nomination to the court be invalid? If Joe Biden's auto-pen signature that appointed her was not legitimate, James Comer says we might be able to undo her appointment. And we'll look into it. Whether you can remove a sitting Supreme Court judge is a whole big can of worms. But the conversation now needs to be had because the question, of course, is did Joe Biden have the mental capacity to make these appointments and to sign these orders and to engage in this type of executive function if he didn't actually do it, right? If somebody else, if Hunter Biden was there signing off on the document. So Fox News is reporting they had an interview with James Comer, who was here explaining this about judicial doubts, and we'll see what he says. But we've also got more reaction from the White House, right? The cover-up is continuing, and the Oversight Committee also released this from Annie Tomasini. She's now pleading the fifth. Biden White House looks nervous because they are all invoking the fifth and seemingly circling the wagons. And Ketanji might be in trouble. Here's what Fox News reported.
Biden made 228 judicial appointments, including 45 appeals court and 187 district court judges. And most importantly, Biden appointed Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the court's most long-winded justice who couldn't even define what a woman is.
How do you decide when you're going to issue a dissent?
I feel like I might have something to offer and something to add, and I'm not afraid to use my voice.
What keeps you up at night?
We know that. We talk a lot.
I would say the state of our democracy.
It's a republic.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Vagina.
Can I provide a definition? No, not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned that you're looking at some of the pardons that were done under President Biden and the use of the auto pen, Dr. Fauci being one of them, talking about whether they were legitimate or not. Are you also looking into Biden's judicial appointments as well?
Absolutely. Everything that was signed with the auto pen, especially in the last year of the Biden presidency, this is when all the books that are being written, tell-all interviews that are being recorded from his former disgruntled staffers and staffers who are trying to preserve their reputation for future employment, they're all saying that Joe Biden was in a deep mental decline and that he was protected by a very small inner circle. We brought a few of those people in the inner circle and asked them simple questions like, were you ever told to lie about the president's health? And they couldn't answer that question. They had to plead the fifth to avoid self-incrimination. This raises an issue whether these pardons, whether these judicial appointments, and whether these executive orders are legal. I believe that if this investigation keeps going in the way that it's going, that's going to raise serious concerns about whether or not Joe Biden even knew what was going on around him, much less whether he authorized the use of his signature on all of this stuff. I think all of these are in jeopardy of being declared null and void in a court of law. And that's a big deal for the Trump administration because so much of what Trump is up against in court now with these liberal, biased, Biden-appointed judges is the fact that they're using and citing some of these executive orders as reason to throw out President Trump's agenda and President Trump's executive orders. So they tried to Trump-proof the administration on the way out the door. And the problem they've got now is the American people realize that Joe Biden wasn't the one calling the shots, and he may very well have not even been mentally fit to make decisions.
No capacity to even
authorize
appoint
the
these
use
people
of his auto pen, if he even authorized it. So this is going to play out in a court of law. I think our investigation is going to be a substantial part of evidence in it, and that's why we're doing the investigation.
James Comer also said, right, the Biden cover-up continues in full swing, and this was Annie Tomasini, and she was in front of the Oversight Committee having a conversation with them, where actually she wasn't having a conversation about anything because she was invoking the fifth.
Ms. Tomasini, did you ever advise President Biden on the handling of classified documents found in his garage?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Great job.
The record will reflect that Ms. Tomasini has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Ms. Tomasini, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Ms. Tomasini, did President Joe Biden or anyone else in the White House instruct you to conceal or destroy classified material found at President Biden's home or office?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights
Why
under
can't
the
they
Constitution.
just answer?
The record will reflect that Ms. Thomasini has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination.
And it goes on, but I would point out, as we've done before here, that if you're in any other profession, if you're in any other industry, like as a job, like these are employees of the government, okay? Now, I get it, like the right to remain silent and invoke all of that. Huge fan of it. Love it a lot. And I think it's very important. So I appreciate that. But there are certain contexts where, yeah, I mean, that can kind of be held against you, right? In a civil case, if you don't want to testify, that's fine. The jury can have an inference against you because you don't want to take the stand and testify and explain your side, right? So there's an inference that is allowed against you. And we're talking in the criminal context here, and this is the right move for these maniacs who obviously couped our country and took advantage of a demented, dilapidated president. And they should be held to criminal account if there's criminal possibility, criminal probable cause there, and be prosecuted accordingly. And so this is the right move, right? If you're her defense attorney, don't say a damn thing because you did it. We know you did it, so shut up. So Mark Warner is very upset about the investigation that is now percolating into Joe Biden's capacity. And he says, coming after Tulsi Gabbard, he says, we can't look into any of this. Now, it seems that Tulsi Gabbard is unaware of the years-long Russia investigation, saying that the Senate said that everything that was concluded was right. And so, of course, Mark Warner looks nervous about that incoming investigation. So does this fella here, James Himes. He calls on basically Trump to stop all of this, stop looking into Obama, stop looking into Biden, don't look at what the Democrats did to commit crimes to seize power in our nation. And he sounds as nervous as Mark Warner.
Here's the test. This is Epstein all over again. Criminal referrals. We're going to prosecute Barack Obama. You know, treasonous and seditious. Here's the thing, and I hope that 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, don't take it from this Democrat, 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, let's see if this administration, Tulsi Gabbard accusing a former president of treason, let's see if they bring charges. They won't, because there's not a judge in the land, not a single judge who will treat this with anything other than laughter that will be heard from the Atlantic to the Pacific in this country. So the test of this is 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, is the DOJ bringing charges? And the answer to that is no. And now we're going to be an Epstein world where, like, wait a minute, treasonous conspiracy by a former president. Why isn't the Department of Justice bringing charges? And the answer to that question is that it is a lie.
I don't think so there, buddy boy. So we may not see charges in 4 to 6 weeks. That's kind of a short time scale for indicting president. Takes a long time. Like Jack Smith, I think, took a long time. He was appointed as special prosecutor. Then the indictments came how much later? Months later, maybe 8 months later, maybe longer than that. Okay, especially if you're going to indict a former president. We've gone through it twice with Trump. We've seen it. Takes a long time. Conspiracy continued, and it's all one and the same. Joe Biden was just an empty figurehead, probably an extension for Obama, who's now facing some scrutiny on this. And this is 15 minutes from Mike Johnson. He says, a year ago today, President Biden's disastrous debate performance ended his re-election campaign and exposed the largest political cover-up in U.S. history. As House Republicans investigate the scandal to bring accountability, the American people should never forget how far Democrats and the media want to hide the truth about the mental decline of the man holding the most powerful position on earth. Here is just a small sample of the receipts. This is 15 minutes. We'll just play a little snippet here.
This is a man that's on his game.
On his game. Top of his game.
He's at the top of his game. Top of his game. Such a consequential president of the United States. A Mount Rushmore kind of president.
Is on the ball. The man knows more than most of us have forgotten.
Was on his game.
I walk into the Oval Office or see him on Air Force One, I have to be on top of my game.
Do you believe?
They just get the same talking points, okay? They are so much automatons that they can't even come up with anything new on their own. Like a text message group. Just go say this, Karine.
President Biden is the future of the Democratic Party. The strongest person to represent Democrats in 2024.
Absolutely.
Biden is extraordinarily strong.
Is the strongest, most accomplished president we've had in my lifetime.
Boldest and strongest American presidents we have had.
Focused and disciplined leader.
Focused. His recall was good.
Focused. He's detail-oriented.
Fitness, his vigor.
Wow. So you get them, right? They're all just liars right through their mouths. Byron Donalds called it out over on this conversation.
How was it that this cabal of senior people in the Obama White House was able to convince so many people of this lie when they had no evidence whatsoever of it?
Well, they got away with it because once they leaked these false narratives and false reports, you had big media organizations who just went lock, stock, and barrel, did not fact check, did not go and do the extra work, did not do any due diligence whatsoever. They just followed and towed the company line. And then you have the deep careers in the intelligence community who either they were afraid of being fired or having getting their clearances revoked, or B, were so concerned about Donald Trump presidency that they felt it was okay to concoct false information into the American people, into the body politic. So Anna is completely correct. There need to be arrests on this matter. People need to go to jail on this, because this is about the republic. This is not about one president. It is about the presidency and the continuation of our country.
Yeah, we cannot have the intelligence agencies running the government, running the executive branch, using little operations on our own people, delivering talking points for the candidates. And you remember that clip of Hillary when she was also saying the same thing? She was on the debate stage talking about against Trump, saying there's evidence of the intelligence agencies that Trump is colluding with the Russians and has connections with the Russians and all the things. It's just the same operation, and we're tired of it. Byron Donalds is right. There need to be arrests, and the investigation shall continue. And if Ketanji was illegally and unlawfully appointed, then she can go back to Broadway and enjoy her little musicals.